Howdy, howdy guys. So the most common question I get when I'm doing light painting is, what is my camera settings? What were your camera settings? What are you using? So so far I've used two things. I've used slow shutter for ISO and then a regular Sigma FP. And so there's kind of a different approach, but kind of the same approach. And it kind of comes down to all the different lighting pieces that you have and the intensity of it, because like the larger the light source, the more it covers everything, the less time you need depending on the intensity. So the light intensity is another one. Like this is my least powerful light. This is my touch up, but I use this through a lot of the application or a lot of the image because I'm a little afraid of screwing up the actual photo. The background, which is a very big piece and it's separated out from the main subject, let's say back on this wall, I can use a much bigger light and just kind of go over it really quick, get a quick gradation and make it happen. And I can go with the intensity. So what are the actual settings? Well, I would suggest for most people, they set everything to the far left, like the ISO sensitivity, ISO 2532, the settings for the light sensitivity in iOS, that would be way to the left, at like 1/28 of a second or something like that. On a regular camera, I would set your ISO all the way down to like 200 or 100, and then f8 or f9 as a piece there, because on the Sigma, we only have 30 seconds to do an exposure, so it's very limited. So I have to kind of hit it with a lot of light, but those timers get in your head. And so there's a couple different ways to do this. With a Sigma FP, where your actual traditional camera, I'll go with a mid brightness light, maybe something like this flashlight, 30 seconds, and I'll count out the things that I'm going to hit. Maybe the image that you've seen with the pink flowers and the vase and kind of the shower door, it was kind of a hit list of, I got to put 20 seconds or 15 seconds on the flowers and then 15 seconds on the background. And I'd compare it once the image was done. I'd look back and I'm like, okay, now I need 20 seconds on the flowers and 10 seconds on the background or the vase. And so you just kind of create this script, this list that you go down, you try it, 15 seconds, 15 seconds, oh, I need 20 seconds and then 10 seconds on the other one, and you go through it. And so if you can't actually see the image being produced at that point in time, just write down a list of the things you're going to hit and then make sure you hit it and then look at your times and your intensities of your light. So even though I have a lot of different lights, I really probably most of the time only use 2 or 3 lights in one actual photo. And so you kind of know the timer in your head. Now iOS with slow shutter, it shows you the exposure as you go, but it also kind of brings down that the least intense light, the smallest light, is the one that you can get most accurate, and you can highlight, rims on flowers, or you can do a little bit of backlighting. You can do these things very so subtly, and that's the reason why. But also there's like the timing of your photo where you can get 80% of your photo done a lot of times within just a minute or two, but you might spend the next 15 minutes, highlighting like a little stem of a flower, or highlighting the just an area here or there, just touching it up. But those things make a huge difference into the way the image looks, and it just sets it apart from most other images. So just know this, that your light intensity, the light size, practice with it, spend time with it. If you're starting out, put everything all the way back to the least sensitivity, the lowest ISO. And then when you start getting bored and you know what you're doing, you get that experience, then you can speed things up. So, first of all, slow and steady wins the race, right? That's what you need to get in your mind. How much time, how much intensity of the light you can apply. After that, it's just a matter of refining your process. Being able to hit a background really quick with a lot of light, that will save you minutes, and then you can do this. But with most of the camera systems, with these slow shutters and that, it doesn't matter. You get to go back and forth, and you can stop, and you can stop in middle of the image. So for iOS slow shutter, you can go half the image on the least amount of sensitivity, do that, and then when you want to speed some things up, you can stop it, change the settings to half settings, which let's say ISO 800, and then things can be quicker that way. But you'll find that as your image progresses, you start to slow down even more because you got so much time invested in it. So if you got 15 minutes in your image, your last 2 minutes have generally very few changes to the image because you want to be careful to make sure you didn't waste that previous 15 minutes. Anyway, guys, if you got comments, questions, concerns, I hope this has helped, and see you next week.